Multiple reports say a blockbuster NBA trade involving the Raptors is close to completion. Toronto will send 3 players to the New York Knicks for a package of players that includes Canadian OG Barrett. OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn will be sent to the Knicks. Anunoby was originally drafted by the Raptors in 2017 and is known for his strong defensive skills. Barrett is 23 years old, was born in Toronto, and helped Team Canada qualify for next year's Olympics. The Raptors will also reportedly receive guard Immanuel Quickley and a second-round draft pick. Well, for more on this, let's bring in Akil Augustine. He's a host and producer of NBA TV Canada, and he keeps a very, very close eye on those Toronto Raptors. So, Akil, welcome. Thank you so much for making some time for us. This seems like big news, a big trade with some big names. What's your reaction?
Well, first off, props to you guys and your journalistic integrity because, again, this is not a confirmed deal. Nobody wants to be scooped. So there's a lot of people well invested in the NBA landscape that want to drop the news first. It looks like it's very likely that this deal is about to happen. But again, you said the magic words. It's close to being finalized. Now, this is a huge deal for Raptors fans and for Knicks fans who are hoping for a big push in the playoffs. But for Raptors fans, the big question was, what direction is this team taking? We've seen this team struggle to get wins this season and fighting for an identity, struggling from the three-point line. And also, we've seen Scottie Barnes come into his own as a potential superstar. So the Raptors fans want to know what is the front office doing to bolster this roster around Scottie Barnes. And I think this move is huge. It's exciting. You get some young guys. You mentioned Quickley, you mentioned Barrett, who are on the right side of 25 or 30 years old, depending on your perspective on this NBA. You want to go young, especially with Scottie Barnes, and then to score a second-round draft pick is very important for this group as they try to continue this youth movement. But it is very sad to see OG Anunoby depart after 7 great seasons with the Toronto Raptors.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that, because as you say, if this is indeed correct, that this trade is going to happen, that it's imminent here, yes, the Toronto Raptors seem to be trying to build something a little more solid around Scottie Barnes, but we are losing some big names as well, or Toronto is, I should say. So talk to us a little bit about that, about what the Raptors are losing here as well.
Well, I mean, listen, OG has turned himself into one of the premier 3-and-D guys. And I think he's someone who is going to command a huge return when he opts out, which is what everyone expects, when he opts out of his $19.9 million deal this year. And he looks to get, hopefully, a max deal if you're his agent. And so I think the Raptors are losing someone who's been a great presence for this team, part of a championship and part of this rebuild. But I think there's a lot of questions around whether the Raptors are going to be able to retain him in the offseason. And everybody was kind of surprised at the deal that Fred VanVleet got, and they don't want to see a repeat situation where the Raptors go into the offseason thinking they have a chance at signing someone who's been a core part of the team and then someone blowing them out of the water with a deal that just doesn't seem feasible. So to secure 2 pieces like they got, I mean, listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm a huge fan of Immanuel Quickley. He is one of the front runners for 6th Man of the Year. And again, I've known RJ since he's a little kid. I've known his dad most of my life, and great family, but a really strong basketball player who I think the story's not written on what he can contribute. I think people want to see more consistency from the three-point line for him, and I think he can do that. So again, I look at this deal and I'm super excited if it does come to fruition, because I think you weren't going to find many better, I think, personally, at this point in the season, knowing that OG doesn't have a lot left on that contract.
And RJ Barrett, like you mentioned there, of course, is Canadian, born here. His father is the general manager of Canada Basketball. Steve Nash is his godfather. So moves in quite an interesting circle there in terms of the basketball world. Do want to ask you, though, about that lawsuit that the New York Knicks filed against the Toronto Raptors. How does that all factor into this possible deal?
It doesn't look like it does. I mean, I think both teams have put basketball first. I think both teams are looking to build their roster out, and they have what each other wants and needs. So whatever role this lawsuit may have played in the past, it looks like it's water under the bridge when it comes to today, because obviously both front offices got together and got as far as to the point where NBA insiders are reporting that they may have tentatively come to an agreement on a deal. So, I mean, I don't know what it means for the court case, but right now it means a lot of positives for both teams on the floor if it does come to fruition.
Okay. Akil, thank you for this. So great to have you on, and to have you on so quickly in light of this news, of course, like we say, if all of this turns out to be the case. We do appreciate it, though.
Thank you.
Akil Augustine is host and producer of NBA TV Canada. Stay with us. More news straight ahead.